I think we're live. Testing. Yes, we seem to have. Yay. Okay. There we are.
Yay.
Hello, friends.
Yay. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
We're alive.
Yeah, thankfully. And Nadine is back. Hello.
I am. Hello.
There she is.
All right. So before we get started, I forgot to do something last week, which is just a quick, where we're sort of starting a new season, if you will, going into the Underveld. I just wanted to remind everyone that our show does use a safety system. Because I once upon a time used to play rugby, I tend to think in those terms when it comes to safety. Rugby and lacrosse both use the same mechanism, which is a yellow card, red card. So the way it works is all of the players at any time can just PM me. Either, obviously enough, probably the best one is going to be via the Discord. And all you have to do is say yellow card. I don't need to know any details. I will immediately send us to a break. We take 5 minutes, we come back, I chat with whoever the player was, we sort out what the problem is, and we determine if we can go forward. If any player, for any reason, sends me red card, I end the stream right then and there. No explanation. No explanation is required. I don't actually would prefer you not give me one, just red card, yep, no problem. And we'll talk about it tomorrow once everyone's had a chance to take a deep breath. All right? So those tools are in place because... bluntly, I didn't know the tools existed up until about a year ago, because that's the generation of gaming I'm from. And I feel very strongly that players who expect those tools to be present have them available. So I just wanted to remind everyone that those tools existed. Okay? Mm-hmm. And like I say, I don't need explanation. All I just need to know is where I've ran afoul, red or yellow, and we'll sort it out. And then we'll sort it out once we've all had a chance to breathe. That's my thought on it. Okay? So the other thing I wanted to explain really quickly before we do in-character recaps is faction dice. As of now, the group all every player has two points of faction with the Dashamali. Those dice can be... Okay, Drew, can you hear me?
No, I'm going ooh, and
Yeah.
I was
right.
muted.
Okay. So the idea is that everyone now has two dice, which can be used under any circumstance that makes sense to influence any roll while you are in the Underveld. Ooh. They are effectively legend points, but they are specifically faction-oriented. The Dashamali... we'll talk about this in a moment. Control a good... have a territory. All of the other competing families down here also have territories. And so family names, as we've established in your initial conversations, have clout. That's the reason that Renimala and Renishi, who are not actually Dashamali, will tend to use the Dashamali name while traveling, because they are cousins of the family. And that opens doors that would otherwise remain closed. Okay? So where you folks have been declared, quote, cousins, you also have that, but it is a finite resource where essentially those two dice, each of you, represent Equidian's goodwill. One of them is Equidian's goodwill and the other one's the matriarch's goodwill. All right? So for the work you've been doing above ground, that is the mechanical carry through. Hey, Czar, how you doing? Thank you. That is the mechanical effect. You can use those dice in social situations to reflect name dropping. You can use them in combat situations to reflect perhaps that you had picked up some cool item or thought to, while shopping, got a superior quality something because of your contacts with the Dashamali family, whatever. All I need is a reasonable excuse as to why that die works. Okay? They count as D6, by the way. All right? And you spend them as anytime you need them. Okay?
Great.
So those are the two things I wanted to go over before we plunged in, because it is meta-mechanical stuff. Safety tools and the faction dice. Like I said, I had wanted to discuss the safety tools last stream where Nadine had just joined us, but we were all so excited about the fact that Nadine had joined us, I completely missed that bullet point on my to-do list. So
Sorry, I make people flustered in general. I understand.
I'm totally okay with that. So there we have it. Yeah. So any questions about any of that before we plunge ahead? All right.
No.
Okay. I'm just really checking. Okay, just making sure. Sorry, someone just pinged me, and I was just terrified for a moment. So 1 sec.
Great Moustache is asking, so are you saying that they have 2 that get eaten up once used, or that 2 can be used wherever it makes sense?
Both.
Ooh.
In other words, you have 2 points that can be used whenever it makes sense, and they get eaten up when you use them.
I see.
They're
Okay.
finite.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
finite.
Now, obviously, the reason Renishi and Ranamala, as it were, sort of have been working for the Dashamali for significantly longer, and if you will, just innately have those dice semi-permanently. Okay. Now, if you folks do a bunch of things, for example, the group were all giggling about the idea of going vampire hunting, going after Verbladron. Okay. Well, if you actually manage to write off. Mm-hmm.
I think we were realistic about that.
Well, there was some giggling going on too. But if you were to actually do that and actually manage to bag a couple of them, then that would be the sort of thing that's a service, depending whose territory you're in, that is a service to whoever it is owns that territory. So it is possible as you stroll around and encounter other families on your way that you can add faction dice for those other families.
So I have a question on that in that case. If we have faction dice and they give us plus D6, are there factions we are likely to encounter that will give us minus D6?
There is at least one faction which is not... So one of those things, and we'll talk about it in detail once we get the game going, but the short version is that most of the families are in a state of frenemy. There are... because they're all competing interests. Right. However, there is one neighboring family to the Dashamali, which is an active state of Cold War. So social roles you will be throwing, by definition, if you name drop the Dashamali family or are waving the Dashamali colors around, you will actually have disadd 1 on all social interactions.
Wait, waving the color. Have I chosen the wrong corset color now?
No, I'm just going to say, no, your corset color matches the backdrop beautifully. It's whether or not, for example, you're wearing the livery of the family is the issue.
Right, I see. Okay, cool.
No, like I say, it tends to be... shooting wars are expensive. Everyone tries to avoid them. And there are far too many things which are just mutually a problem to everyone. As I posted Renamala's survival guide, which I will actually read out loud for the benefit of the stream, that'll be an in-character thing. I just wanted everyone a chance to see it in advance, because that much verbiage, some of it would just go over your head, right? So, but yeah, obviously enough, there's an awful lot of stuff down here, which is dangerous, and so, if you will, the meanest anything ever gets is the odd punch in the nose, whatever. No one's murdering anyone about anything down here. It's just too expensive.
Yeah.
The last time there was an actual stabbing war, as you will, all it did was set up a circumstance where they then almost immediately had the twin calamities of an outbreak of sickness followed by an outbreak of blood drinkers. So
It's fair. It's fair.
So everyone tries to avoid that. All right. Any other meta questions before we plunge forward?
How do I become the strong... No.
How do I win Open Legend? What meta?
Yes,
to win.
so-
I would just
I'm
like
just-
to win now.
Yes, if you would like to win now, the first thing you do is get all of the money you can find, divide it by 2 because it's Australian dollars, put it into a large brown paper bag.
You didn't have to hurt us.
Actually, I'm just gonna say because my sister now lives in Toronto and I've sent her money. We're not that different, you and I.
And the American dollar's gotten very close as
The
well.
American dollar has dropped. The Canadian dollar is almost at parity.
The English pound still hurts every
English-
time.
We don't talk to England from here.
Yeah,
No.
all right.
We cry.
So I guess that we're
So,
now trying to
just that-
collect faction points. That's the aim down here.
Well, no.
Yeah, we got to catch them all. Oh wait, what?
Well, you can if you like. My point is I wanted you to be aware of it in case you see a use for it. It's a resource
will.
that you can spend. Like if literally you guys just rush from one side, if you guys just literally rush from one side of along the road straight across and immediately exit, then it really doesn't matter. You won't be interacting with that many people. But if the first thing you do is spend 2 weeks hanging out in a city so you can open up every door and talk to every shopkeeper, then it may become relevant.
The real goal down here is to become important enough that people need faction points with us.
And that's done by collecting all the Pokemon.
That's done by collecting all the Donahue.
Yes. I was just going to say, the good news is there's only one of them, and there's only seems to be one other contestant. Of course, she kicked the crap out of the group the last time she played, so I
might have fight.
Mm-hmm.
I might have lost track, but what we're saying is our objective now is to have the most powerful member of each noble family crammed into a small ball.
And I'm telling you that's correct. Yeah. I'm also telling you I'm sure there's a boon or a bane for that.
Chevalier's just like, okay.
Are we going labyrinth on this? Are we going labyrinth?
David Bowie down here.
I hope so.
I'm just going to say, I don't know that many people who wouldn't be keen on meeting David Bowie down here.
You have to save the Master Ball for David Bowie.
Of course.
Can we all dress like David Bowie for the next?
What makes you think? How much more? How much freaking more, Drew?
I said, can we?
What more
all,
can I do?
Can we all? I know you're doing it.
I'm just
but
going to
this is
say.
a try.
I was just going to say
Everyone
the
else
last
is just
time
letting down the team.
the last time I had my hair this tall and platinum blonde was. I don't think any of you were alive, so.
Into your head?
No.
Worth checking.
Okay, so
but yes, I
if
absolutely
I
adore
rock
that
up in a
movie.
onesie next week, then you know why.
If you rock up in a onesie, I have no surprise.
All right.
True, because I've told you.
Well, I mean, yes, you.
I
because you
ruined
told
it.
me.
Damn it.
You have, yeah.
All right. So let's get started with the recap. So I think just because it would be the most amusing, I'm going to leave she for last. So Lucas, your thoughts on recent events, please.
Oh, okay. Well, we were awaiting news from Maquidian on whether or not we could have an escort to take us through the Underwelt. And in the meantime, we were doing a lot of shopping in order to prepare for such a journey. I bought milkshakes. And what else? Eventually, we were all having dinner when Renamala arrived with her sister, Renishi. Yes? Am I correct in thinking that? Yes, I probably got it completely wrong. I got that's a thumbs up.
May I very quickly interrupt and ask for pronunciation of name and pronouns of character?
Reneshi and
Reneshi.
she, they.
Oh, she, they.
Sweet. Thank you.
Apologies. So they arrived at the tavern where we were staying and quickly let us know that they were there to escort us down into the Underveld, and we went down to the Underveld. And it's exciting. We're going into an adventure. It's going to be great. What could go wrong? Darkness, vampires.
A list somewhere. Hang on.
It's exactly what we asked for.
Whether or not that's wise or not is a different discussion, but it is exactly what you asked for. Yes.
So far, my wound has healed up, I do believe. So I'm fit and fighting and ready to go. Bring it on, bitches.
You keep on saying that. I don't think that means what you think that means. All right. Let's see. Chevalier, your thoughts?
We spent some time readying ourselves for our next stage of our journey, making sure we had equipment that might be useful on the journey. I also talked with a acolyte of Borodor about the sickle, but unfortunately we needed to leave. It was more important to leave than to wait for more information from them, and so was not able to talk more with a higher ranked member. I continued to investigate my own systems, essentially, discovering that there have been some that I have never had access to or awareness of until now. Worrying, to say the least. But we are on the move again. We are getting closer. And that is good.
All right. Spider.
Yeah, mate.
So, give me the rap sheet, mate. What's up?
Oh, we're finally getting moving again. Our good friend Benamala from the Dashamalis has agreed to take us through the Underveld to Dusseldorf, and she's brought her nerdy sibling. I'm pretty sure we hit it off pretty good, though. We had a nice chat. Yeah, I'm excited. We might get to, do some daring adventure down here. Hunt a blood drinker or something.
Any idea what they look like?
The bad guys.
Right, yeah. So if it's a bad guy, that's clearly it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure Renamala will tell us.
Uh-huh.
Or Reneshi will scream or something.
Or something, right? Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So anything's concerning you these days?
The possibility that Alexandri might turn us all inside out at any given moment.
Yeah, that seems to have suddenly become a concern of yours, hasn't it?
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
I had a bad dream, and last time I had a bad dream, she made it come true, and that wasn't good.
Don't cross me, Spider.
She here right now.
Kind of irritating when she does that, isn't it? Trying to have a personal conversation with the rest of the planet, and she breaks in like that.
Thought this diary room was soundproof.
Hi, Spider. How are you?
Oh, Lucas, you're here too. Oh, yeah. Oh, hi, Reneshi.
So yeah, what's the anything? So just generally speaking, you're pretty pleased with the way things are going, then, eh, Spotter?
Yeah, look, I think as far as things go, it's pretty hard for us to be tracked down here. Hopefully, this trip will take long enough that the trail goes a bit cold on our bounty by the time we reach Dusseldorf.
Yeah, makes sense. All right then, Alexandre, thoughts?
I made a list.
She has many thoughts, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no, today only 4. There is a sorceress with toned calves after me. Chevalier can do things he shouldn't be able to, and he's not in control of them. We have a new person with us. I'll come back to that one. Genevieve can still find us. And Renamala has a crush on Lucas, if I recall correctly. And now she's bringing her sister. So, yes.
All right then. So that's a list, but those aren't really thoughts. What are your thoughts? Which is really the question.
It's going to be a long journey.
Mm-hmm. How come?
I mean, refer to list.
Fair enough, yes.
All of it is problematic.
Concede, yes.
Yes.
I mean, it also is.
Oh, you're here.
Distance. Hi, Alexandre. I'm in the room.
Okay,
How long
folks.
have you been in the room?
Look, the door's open. And
The door was definitely closed a second ago.
Maybe it fell open. Well, no, I was just going to say, in terms of distance, it's still also a physically long distance that we're going to.
Yes, it's also a physically long distance.
I'll see you. Bye.
Yeah, okay, bye. Leave now. Okay, so I'm also concerned that Lucas can apparently now hear what I'm saying. So all of what I said, just it was a joke. It's all a joke. Ha 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 ha.
Right. All right. Renishi, thoughts?
My main thought is that any time my sister wakes me up pre-dawn is a very bad time. I refuse to do it now. She wasn't wrong. We are quite literally babysitting, well, a dog in human form, a metal man, a spoiled brat, and someone who says they can climb walls, and that is the greatest thing that they can do. So they're probably going to die, and it's for some reason it's going to be my fault, and I don't like it. I mean, did you see them go down the elevator? One of them almost smacked their head on the wall. Who does that? Just sit down.
Hey. I smack my head against the wall. I lost a whole section of face.
What are you doing here? So all in all, the thoughts on great.
All right, so you're pretty happy with the arrangements then, and you're excited to keep going, huh?
Yes, so the greatest, yes, thank you for putting the words that I was trying to say in my mouth.
All right then, so we begin. As I had discussed, you folks had just come through the roof of a fairly substantial cavern. You guys have been taking this chain and gear counterweight operated elevator platform, whatever it is. It had been moving fairly quickly. It had taken several minutes to get down this far. And it brought you out into a cavern, the roof of which was, I think I said, about 6-7 heights of a person. And the length of the cavern was essentially very near to be the size of a football stadium. It's a huge space. The lighting, of course, is perfectly reasonable for the Ebon Elves and less so for everyone else. Alexandria had created a nightlight, as it were, so there's a little puddle of purple radiance surrounding the party as they move along. Yes.
It's blue and it's her skin. But
Yeah.
otherwise perfectly correct.
And so you had been making your way, just gotten off the platform. You had looked around a little bit. The place has what looked to be remarkably dim little way lights marking off things based on, corners, intersections, don't walk there spots, things like that. And again, the color palettes are these odd ranges of reds, blues, purples, some greens. What's visibly missing is anything into the yellow-white part of the spectrum. It's just not a color they're using down here. So for everyone's, like I say, the Ebon Elves seem to getting along just fine. The lot of you are going to Renamala will say hello to a fairly craggy-faced Ebon Elf who's built like a dockyard worker. Who's just, yep. Oh, you heading down? She nods. Everyone's speaking Ebon Elf, by the way. Just by default, unless you say otherwise, as of now, you're speaking Ebon Elf, because that's what most of the people down here speak. They may have a different language, but yeah. So she'll nod, and she looks like a busy day, he says, jerks his thumb at a massive pile of crates, a couple of cages that have got cloth thrown over them, some things like that. That's all got to go up, and then apparently Oswald's got a huge pile to come down. Well, we'll get it your way and let you get to it. Take care. I think the next one on the other side's up in 5 minutes if you hurry. All right. So come on then, says Renamala. We've got another elevator to catch.
Another one.
Oh yeah, there's two. We have to do this twice to get all the way down.
How far down do we need to go?
Well, that was one. We need to do it twice more.
Same
distance. Depth? Yeah. Renamala is kind of rolling along. She says, I don't understand the reasoning by it, but it has something to do with the maximum length that they can build the chain or something like that. So to get all the way down into the Great Cavern, they just have to do it in stages. So there are 3 of these sort of in a zigzag pattern that lead up to the surface.
I also heard that if you're not an Ebon Elf, your brain may explode. But that's just something I heard.
Alexandra is going to just casually start, playing with her hair.
You do know the anti-brain exploding spell, right?
What?
And she'll punch Mala to make sure that she shuts her mouth.
Mala is polite. Mala is politely whistling innocently and applying some extra speed to her wheels as she heads down the corridor, weaving. By the way, this place there's probably 30 people in this cavern who are all coming and going, moving stuff. There is something that kind of looks like what happens when you cross an ant with a mule. It's a really awkward-looking creature. So it's got 4 or 5 large boxes strapped to its back. It's towing a 3-wheeled cart behind it, which is also piled up with boxes, and it's heading in the direction that you're going. Probably the most disturbing thing about it is that the antenna is actually where the eyes are, and it does that with one eye to look at you guys as you walk past. One eye the eye closest to you keeps looking ahead in the direction it's walking, and the other one kind of looks over at you to see what you're doing, and then goes. So these are some of the things that are going on as you're making your way through. And by the way, about that brain exploding spell.
Amazing.
That's fine. I'm sure. I'm sure you can learn it.
Yeah. Okay.
And she'll like run to like hop onto the back of Marla's wheelchair to like get away from this.
She can't possibly. What? How fast is she moving?
Just a little faster than walking speed, I would assume.
Chevalier. Do brains explode under a lot of ground?
No.
Obviously, but you're not at any risk.
Why?
He just looks at Lucas and smiles.
Why?
Well, same reason Lucas isn't.
I know why he's not.
Oh my god! Did you see
And
that
then Spider
mule?
just
That
shrugs
ant
in your
mule?
direction.
So
He's just like looking back for 3, like half of his face has just been ground down, and it's slowly coming back. Like it's
It's just regrowing.
it's just like repairing itself. And he's just sort
Chevalier.
of, and he's just like, she's was better, and then just continues to walk.
Chevalier, you might want to sit down on the next elevator.
all right.
Drugs.
That drop, that tank.
We could tie you to the fence thing.
So when you get there, this platform is a little bit bigger than the other one. The railings are a little bit higher. The railings have hunks of are much less ornamental and much more functional. It's more like a picket fence than they are railings. Someone has thoughtfully. There's actually a couple of fairly strapping ebon elves, one girl, one guy, who are in the process of moving a couple of boxes off the platform and dragging a couple of benches onto the platform as you guys are approaching. And the girl looks over at you. Yeah, here they are, right on time. She's going to look over at a piece of paper that's pegged, like proverbial clipboard hanging off the wall, looks at something, looks back at the pile. That one's got to come off. We just don't have enough weight for that. All right, sure. No, the guy who's there, the guy who's there, and another shorter fellow will step over, and the three of them will basically, between the three of them, very carefully heft this fairly substantial crate off of the platform, shuffle it over, and set it down out of the way. And there's she'll immediately put what looks to be, to your eyes, this absolutely fluorescent pink banner ribbon stapled with a thumbtack onto it. Like, it literally seems to be glowing of its own accord in this absolutely livid pink.
My favorite color.
So yeah, the lass who basically looks like who looks like what happens when you take a surfing professional and tell them they've got to work in a warehouse, and she'll wave at you and come on, let's go.
Yeah, I go on there.
All right. I know she kind of looks at you. I know the idiot dwarf up top wouldn't have been this nice, but you've got benches. Take a seat.
Thank you.
Alexandre takes a seat, and I would like to cast bolster
On?
to try and on myself
Uh-huh.
to try and keep my brain in my head as we descend.
So exactly, how does one use bolster to keep one's brain in one's head?
It's more of a narrative thing, so I'm not actually sure. But
Well, yes,
I
but
think-
the point is,
what is
if you can't-
Alexandria trying to do?
Yes, if you can't explain what she's doing, then it's probably unlikely to work.
It's going to be ridiculous, but
Yep.
okay. What she's going to try to do
Mm-hmm.
is no, she's got enough knowledge of fashion and what makes things look good. So she's going to try to cast a like a crown, not a crown, like a circlet around her head.
Okay.
And that's what the bolster boon would look like on her.
All right.
My first thought was like a football helmet, and then I was like, no, she's too classy for that. She's far too classy for that.
Like a gridiron helmet.
Yeah, just to hold her head together. No, she's classy.
Gridiron helmets don't do that.
No, they stop external things coming in, not internal things going out.
Yes, and ears squirt. But okay.
Yeah, but the intention for her is more like, as long as I'm holding the spell, surely nothing can happen,
Of course not.
right?
I'm sure that's how that works.
But the spell might not work. But like that, let's try and see.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. 2 exploding D6s, so we start well. That's a 23. She is keeping her head intact.
It does get dark though.
It does get dark. But right now, the important thing is she keeps her head, keeps her brain in her head.
Has it dawned on Alexandria that the prospect of holding this for 3 weeks?
No, no, it has not.
Great.
No.
That's a future Alexandria problem.
That's not something she needs to worry about right now. Basically, she just needs to hold it until she sees what happens to the 2 of you. So that's like 5 minutes. That's fine. She can do that.
All right.
And then
You
maybe
are
another
going to
5 minutes to
see-
come back up.
You are going to say, Brene, she kind of like put the like sit down, back up against Marla, and their head is going to like rest on their knee, and they're going to like cover themselves. But you will see like shaking shoulders, like, her trying to keep her laughing.
So, all right, here we go. Next stop, way down. And again, that sort of moment of clunk as the platform accelerates faster than the counterweight picks up. And then everything, back further in, what little glowing light there is up here vanishes as the doors close above you. And again, you're on a long 5-minute ride down. Yeah. Same general experience. The only difference is the air begins to adopt a very different smell. There's a warmth to it that was absent up above. It was kind of cool, like almost chilly. Now, as you guys are dropping, it begins to warm up again, noticeably by the time the 5 minutes has gone past. And the air has a sense of humidity in it. You will come out into another cavern, not quite as expansive as the one you just left. A little bit shorter, much narrower. Essentially, there's enough room for a few people to move things from one elevator to another, and a space basically to put an elevator's worth of goods, while so there's a third empty spot to shift stuff around, and then a spot, what looks to be a little area that's been set aside as a break room, for lack of a better way of putting it. And yeah, there's again, fairly busy. There's a load of stuff ready to go up. Again, boxes, bales, cages. And yeah, you guys arrive. One older woman in charge who's directing traffic, half dozen fellows shuffling stuff around. I think the immediate thing that is going to be noticed right away is that as Alexandri, Renishi, and Runamala go past them, any of the guys here will bow to them. They ignore Lucas, Chevalier, and Spider like their furniture, but the ladies get bowed to.
I like this game.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, this works. This makes sense. This is how things. Anyway, Lucas, how's your brain?
The same. Jasper, are you all right? Jasper.
And then I just slap Lucas across the face.
Oh no, you're perfectly fine.
That was a good one.
I'm gonna pick Jasper up.
Hey,
You're picking people up. Okay.
Just gonna pick him up and hold him as high
Lucas.
away from the ground as possible.
Lucas,
What?
put me down.
Say you're sorry.
There's very
the
elder
excuse for a brother. Put me down.
Say you're sorry.
The elderly woman in charge will ahem, and she's going to look squarely at Alexandria. Could you please keep your staff with some sense of order about them? We're trying to get some work done here.
My apologies. Lucas, put him down.
Okay, I turn Jasper up the right way and I put him back down.
That's right, staff boy.
Behave yourselves.
If you mind,
Okay.
please. We're trying to keep a schedule.
Sorry. Moves along.
Sandri, just apologize.
So, shortly thereafter, about every 10 minutes, the platforms are going either up or down, and it takes because it just takes that long to load, unload, get everything reset, etc., etc. So as soon as the next platform plunges into the darkness and the doors close, Renamala will, over the sound of the air rushing past, the clatter of the gears and the chains and everything else that's going on around you, will, a little loudly, like I say, to be heard. That I forgot to mention that to you. I know this isn't the way you folks' world works, but down here, bluntly, the three of you, she's going to be gesturing at Chevalier, Lucas, and Spider, are basically going to be considered either her property or her staff.
It's fine. We already do.
Yeah, we've done this dance before.
All right.
Yes.
Just keep in mind that, and the other thing too is if you encounter anybody who looks vaguely like a noblewoman and you don't give a bow or at least a polite nod to, she gets in trouble and it causes a scene, and I don't want to have to put up with that.
Oh,
Don't
no, we
cause a
wouldn't wanna
scene.
Cause a scene. No, we would never.
Spider,
Yeah.
if you cause a scene, I will make sure you are unhappy.
Oh, me? What do I look like?
Someone who causes a scene.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
Are we causing a scene now?
No, we did that already. It's all right.
Just tell me when.
Don't get me in trouble.
The code word is pineapple.
What?
Renamala is going to glance over at Renishi and just shake her head, and all she's going to do is mouth, "I told you so."
Oh, what's a technology?
So yeah, it's about another 5 minutes of riding this elevator down. And hang on a second here. Let's see if we can get this to work. Map table. All right. And then let me try and get this to look right. So this is where you people were, right? Up above ground, down in this area right over here. And this is where you are planning on traveling, this distance here. So yeah, right. So this is Glitter Delta Cove down here, and that is Dusseldorf, the free city of. So, oh, one sec. The captions don't work on the map table. One moment. We'll fix that real quick. Captions. What? Okay, because you're grabbing the old one. So where you're actually going looks like this. Where is it? Button, Michelle. Welcome to here. And activate. So this is where you emerge. You're coming out via lift over in this area here. The lift actually comes down in the yard of this building here. Everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this is Foundry. If folks want to just log into Foundry so you can individually see better, go ahead. But yeah, other than that, map view will do. So again, it's the probably 12, 15 heights of a person from the point you come down through the cavern roof to the point you touch ground here. And this is what you can see as you're coming down the cavern. You can see across this entire width of the area. There are waterfalls over here. That's rivers running down with waterfalls pouring into this sort of concentric bowl. All of these odd colors you're seeing are, instead of lawns, they have lichen. And they all sort of glow in this soft radiance in the various colors you're seeing. So yeah.
Cool.
You see, as soon as we're down to this level, Renee, she will kind of like stretch and feel far more comfortable than you've seen her before.
Mm-hmm.
Your brains are not exploding.
No, there seems to be a distinct lack of brain explosion, so your spell clearly worked.
But the others are fine.
Well, they might have just gotten lucky.
Good point. Renee, you live here?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do.
Do you like it?
What is there not to like? I went into your accent and then I had to bring it back.
Yeah, hold it back. Good job. Good job. You did it. Proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not quite sky side, but
no.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
I think so too.
So there's a lot of not sky.
Yes. You're not wrong.
The ceiling here, like I say, from where you guys are at, like I say, 10, 12 heights of a person. And it arches upwards It's higher. If the ground was level across the whole width of the cavern, which it isn't, it would be higher towards the center of the cavern. The cavern is a little bit jagged roofed. It's not like, stalactites and columns and things like that, but it's not smooth either. There are odd patches of luminescence up there, but they almost look more cloud than they look star, I guess is the best way of explaining it. It just doesn't look the way you're expecting a sky to look. And it's dark. It is dark in the, there are all, for lack of a better way of putting it, I think all of these little dots of radiance all over the place just highlight to your eyes how much not light there is everywhere else. Of course, the two ebon elves, this is literally this is broad daylight from their perspective. This is their eyes are attuned to seeing into the purples, the reds, and so this place glows quite prettily to them. But to all of you, it's this very much, like I say, it's like someone who it's like walking into a football stadium that's only illuminated by glow sticks. Individually, there are all these little puddles of light around. It's the gaps in between are really awkward. There is a surprising amount of noise down here, by the way, because, well, it's a big bowl. So all of the various sounds echo. And it creates a murmur. It's not loud, it's not a roar, but there's this perpetual murmur in the background. And you'll notice that unlike above, where everyone, the two way stations, if you will, where there was a lot of hustle and bustle and people hollering at each other and stuff getting, down here, even around the immediate area of where you guys are disembarking off the elevator, everyone is being much more quiet. That murmur in the background is sort of the back tone that permeates all conversations, and most people are just talking loud enough to be heard above it.
So it's almost like someone's just kind of talking behind you and next to you and in front of you at all times.
It's like being on a busy street, no matter where you stand. But it's a mixture of the noises of the waterfalls. It's a mixture of the noise of the carts moving past, more of those ant mule things. It's the sound of machinery creaking. It's the sound of someone dropping a crate, all of it being diffused and then reflected.
What does La Chanson think of this situation? Like, is it louder? Is it quieter? Can I hear it above that? I mean, I know it's in my head, but at the same time.
I don't think that there's been much of a change
Okay.
in, the area here, while having this perpetual hum in it, is actually, in terms of actual ambient noise, quieter than a busy night in Glitter Delta Cove. Partyville could get pretty noisy around 8 o'clock at night. And so where that was, the sound of everything right there, you're potentially hearing someone chatting on the other side of the cavern. The difference is by the time it gets to you, it's just part of the murmur.
And La Chanson can definitely be entirely down here.
Apparently
so. Because Alexandria would have just been like, well, I can't be here. I guess I'm going to have to turn around and go back up then.
I guess we're walking, yeah. I guess we're taking a boat. Yeah, I guess we're taking a boat.
I'll meet you there on the boat, I guess.
So, let's switch back to...
Do you want to see something cool? And she'll look at Lucas.
Yes.
And they go up to, literally, they look like they just walk up to the wall for no reason. And they just stand and face the wall. And then they're just going to whisper very quietly, Isn't this weird? It sounds like it's in your ear. And the way that sound bounces,
Yes.
it probably will sound exactly like I've just whispered into your ear.
Amazing. Ha! I'm going to go over to the wall.
You can do that in certain train stations, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah,
I'm
you
going to
can.
go over
That's
to the
fun.
wall and say, hey, Jasper, I'm right behind you, but I'm not.
Do you also say, but I'm not?
I think she's just going to look at Lucas and be like, okay. Sure.
So I've got the map view back up. Just a few things really quick, and this is specific to She, and then we're probably going to take a quick break. So again, as native guide, this is stuff that you'll probably wind up. That it depends how long you guys are going to be staying here. The short version is the area you are in is effectively the equivalent of the caravan docks. So all of the big buildings around you are warehouses. The hexes on the map are about 15 meters, just to give you perspective. So most of these warehouse buildings are 20 meters long, 60 feet long kind of thing, and, half again that tall, etc. And they're stacked to the roofs, stuff coming and going all the time. The only two ways in and out of this cavern, one to the northeast, one to the southeast, as you can see. The area due south of you, with all the brightly colored greens and oranges and stuff in the biggish buildings, is basically the P&B district. That's where your pub and bed houses are. For lack of a better way of putting it, they're probably one of the most unused things culturally in your society, because most people going somewhere have family to stay with. And so unlike Skyside, where there's 30 or more little P&Bs scattered all over Glitter Delta Cove, there are 8 down here, and they're all kind of wedged in one little district, and it's because that just happened. It's basically on the wraparound road, and it's for the odd duck who, for whatever reason, doesn't want to stay with family here or can't stay with family here. Because again, family is absolutely everything. So, and it's considered rude to not offer, even like if someone from a competing family was to be going through town and someone of repute within the Dashamali found out about that, it is literally sort of culturally expected that they would literally, even if they don't like the person or their family, offer them a really nice bed in their personal home. Because it's just gauche not to.
You could literally just say it's Arab culture.
You could also literally just say it's black culture. I don't think I've ever managed to stay in a hotel in New York in my life.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I don't know that about
reason.
black culture, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's such something I didn't
Yeah.
know. The closest thing,
to stay anywhere else.
yeah, okay, that's cool.
Why? When I have a bed, are you being rude?
Yeah, exactly. I have a bed.
I will
What?
stay in your home.
Yeah.
Thank you so
I'll stay.
much.
I'm
So
sorry. Don't tell my mom.
Often the P&B houses are used for merchants or diplomats or or other folk who, for whatever reason, don't specifically do not want to be seen to be aligned with one family or another. That they tend to be used as neutral ground. The far side of the bowl is the rich district. Everything, the bottom of this area, because it is a terminal sink, you'll notice the whirlpool is literally where all the water drains. Every once in a while that drain has blocked up and that entire area down there has flooded. So the slum district is the bottom of the cavern in the lowland. The further you are away from the P&Bs and the warehouse district, the better the neighborhood. The brighter the coloring of the lichen lawn, if you will, the more upscale. If you can afford to have a sheltered yard with a fence around it, the more upscale. All that makes sense?
Yeah. As we're kind of gawking at our surroundings,
Mhm.
I'm going to look at Reneshi and Renamala and say, I haven't asked, but what is the name of this place?
Renamala is going to wink at Renishi, and it will take her 14 seconds to divulge all of the syllables. She is absolutely aware of the fact that Renamala just made all of that up. And she's just literally...
Alexandri
It's
tries
very
to start
important
repeating
that
back.
you remember every single one of the syllables in its minute detail.
Can you say
repeat
it
them
again?
please?
Yes, of course. We can say it again, Marla.
At that point, I think Mala, who has no deception skill whatsoever, is going to begin giggling uncontrollably. And she's, I'm having you on. It's called Marsha. It's Marsha All.
Marsha.
Yeah, I will post that in chat so everyone can see it.
It's the middle city.
It's Middle Earth.
Are you a
Very much
hobbit?
shy.
First city.
Yes.
Marsha Shawl.
Marsha Shawl.
Shot.
Marshall Shoal, as the captions have told
Marsa
us.
Marshall Shawl.
Yeah.
Marshall wears a shawl.
Yeah, the closest translation in High Elven or Forest Elven or Sky Elven would be the furthest corner.
Marshall Shaw is the name of this.
Or Forest Elephant.
The farthest
You
elephant.
tried.
The forest elephant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it thinks you're American.
I'm sorry.
Of
New
New
York,
York,
like
not
this the entire
Texas.
time. It would be totally fine.
The
Oh my
forest
God.
elephant.
We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to go refill my coffee cup, and then we'll resume. It is entirely up to you folks if you wish to explore or if you guys just want to get going. Technically, it's only been maybe a half an hour since you left above ground. On the other hand, you have a whole brand new town to look around. This place isn't huge. As I said, the hexes are 15-ish meters, 50 feet. So it's not a huge sprawling place like Glitter Delta Cove, but at the same token. So give it some thought during the break. We'll be right back, and then we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see what happens here.
Let's see what happens.
Pretty.
My name is Michel Vaillancourt. I'm the games master and storyteller for Unlawful Disorder. I've been asked to give a summary of events of the game, but that seems a little strange because, well, that's the job of the players. Don't ask me what the story is, I'm just the guy telling it. So, let's talk about how we got here. So, about a year ago, I saw a bunch of really talented people doing some really cool stuff, and I thought, well, that's cool, I'll have to keep them in mind. And a little while after that, I got a call from a roleplay channel asking me to set up a game. They wanted a European time zone friendly game. So I went back and I called up the cool people doing the cool stuff. So that would be Chantel and company. Cool. So, After that, we took a little bit of time, discussed a good D&D campaign, and I brought forward one of my homebrew worlds, and they looked at me and said, no.
No, I don't do the magic. Alexandra does the magic, but she doesn't know what she's doing.
She inverts people?
She makes their insides their outsides. Sometimes.
So she is either very good or very bad.
She's also literally transported me to my worst nightmare.
That's pretty impressive.
It was an accident, and she didn't know how she did it or if she did it, but she did.
What flavor exactly was my milkshake?
The shankings will continue until morale improves.
What milkshake?
Buy one.
Jasper brought me two, and they both said Lucas on them, so I don't know what you're talking about.
That's strange, because Jasper told me that he got me a milkshake.
Oh, he
It'd be
did.
strange to... Yes, he did.
It would be. That's really strange. I don't know why he would do that.
I mean, I haven't known you for that long, but I could take a solid guess.
So what is it that you can do properly?
I can do.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
This is a lot of time you're taking.
Oh, we're not anymore. Hey.
Okay, I think if I've done that right, we're live and stuff. Yeah. Okay, we're back. There we are.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Fancy meeting you here.
Ah.
Okay. So, yeah, what's the cunning plan?
Oh, we had homework.
You know, in the six and a bit minutes it took me to make some hot chocolate. Yes.
Well, we have guides, so
We've got guides. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
guides.
And also, this is a place that, like, I don't know, if ever I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, I'm always like, give me the grand tour, please. I want to know what makes you love this place.
Where do you live? Where's your house?
Well, that's the question: is do you guys want to do that or not? I'm okay. You know, so it kind. I know for Nadine, it sort of leaves her in the awkward bit, but you know, basically we can just presume that Renamala will do the bulk of the talking as you guys stroll around, and we'll talk, and I can explain a few things. On the other hand, if you guys just want to get going, as it were, then that's okay too.
That's right. That was a question I had about this exact topic. How long have we actually been conscious at this point?
Well, it's evening of your day.
How
You guys, so by my calendar here, just let me double check. It seems to me this is 2 days. This is the concert was the concert was the day before yesterday by the calendar I have. And so you folk got up this morning at whatever hour and have been putting around all day, and it is now the evening of that day, but it is also just after sunset your time.
Right.
But I think all of you look like you're going to fall asleep, so
It is dark.
I think that's
it's going to be dark for a while.
Does do you have like a day mood and a night mood down here?
Yes, we also have a party mood.
We also have a really irritated mood, but it's generally only the women. You don't have to worry about that.
Great.
Mhm.
What does that look like?
You don't want to know.
Okay, I won't ask.
Listen, Mala, I think it's probably best we take them back to ours and let them have some rest. I would like to... You woke me up in the middle of the night. I was sleeping, and now I hardly have anything that I was looking for. I mean, I have obviously the essentials because, I'm always prepared, but like I'd like to get some nice things.
And now you're seeing the grumpy mood.
Fine, says Mala.
They're going to be useless to us for falling asleep on us.
Well,
A quick nap.
Fine.
We can do a quick nap. I mean, we have to adjust to this
Well, and that was going to
new schedule.
Mala's going to rub at her forehead for a moment. Well, that was sort of what I was thinking, is that, I mean, I don't mind showing you around the place, and I suppose that's probably the safest thing to do before we head out on the Grand Cavern. But yeah, just keep in mind that I know for you it's the end of the day, but for us, if you will, it's our morning. So you'll have to start getting used to your clock running on this schedule anyway. But I also don't need you falling over in the middle of a lane, or worse, on a rock bridge or something. So, okay, we'll take a little break before we head out.
Also, it helps with the brain exploding.
Does it?
Yes. Very much so. If you don't sleep at the right times,
Yes.
here, you're a goner.
Are you a physician?
Would you even know what an underveled physician would look like?
No, that's why I'm asking.
Those are the questions that you want to keep asking. And she'll turn around like, ugh.
This way, says Renimala. So as you guys start heading southish along the way, so you folk are, up here, and she's going to lead you slowly, up this area here. Right, you came in about there, so you'll be heading down this way, down towards the P&B houses.
Lucas is just bowing to every female Ebon Elf.
Yeah, and honestly, most of them don't seem too surprised about that.
Okay.
Renimala will basically point out that the ones which are well dressed, again, it's kind of like Skyside the better dressed somebody is. And then Runamal is going to grind to a halt and say, except you can't see that, can you? Let me guess, everyone around here looks like they're dressed in gray, don't they?
With little flashing lights on them.
Right. That's going to be a problem. Let me do it this way. The puffier the dress, the higher the station.
Okay.
We'll just go with that as a line. Because usually it's done by colors, but you can't see any of those colors.
No.
Which colors?
So she's going to, so at the, as you guys are heading down, there's going to be just coincidentally a group of people, a bunch of very, whoever she is, she's obviously important. She's got 2 or 3 individuals who are her personal attendants. And then there is literally going to be 6 fairly hefty fellows, by Elven standards, fairly hefty looking chaps in breastplates with halberds, marching sort of a guard formation. And so, even Renamala will give a deferential bow and nod. And once she goes past, do you see her sash?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, to me, that is a very vivid shade of, I'll use the word purple because I don't think there's any closer word. And to you guys, yes, she's just dressed in gray, head to toe.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Did Michelle, did she walk with the air of someone that is noble?
Oh, absolutely.
Then Alexandra is fine.
I'm just going to say that in point of fact, I'm going to use the description your grandmother would have used is she walks like a snowplow. She's going that way, and everyone else is moving.
Okay. I don't need to see color. I can see expectations.
Okay, good. The biggest 2 things to be concerned about, and we may actually have to stop at a magician's store for this because this is just going to cause us all kinds of grief, you not being able to see color down here, is the sash, and if they're wearing any kind of over-the-shoulder sash, or usually some kind of plumage or scalage in the hat. Those are going to be the colors of whatever house they're representing.
Right.
Oh, we need to be able to see that.
Right, because I'll get into the politics later, she says with a chuckle, but not everyone down here is friendly. They'll all pretend to be friendly, but not everyone down here is friendly.
Like vampires.
Oh, like home.
Yes, much more like home than vampires. The vampires are not friendly to anybody, although they'll convince you of it, and we'll talk about that.
Still sounds like home.
So
Eleonora is a bit of a vampire.
Yes.
There's going to be literally this moment where Renamala doesn't get the reference and is literally going to slam the brakes on, turn her. If you know it, why haven't you gotten rid of her? Like, why would you allow her to continue predating?
She's their sister. That's why.
That's no excuse.
I tried.
Not a real vampire.
She's not a real vampire.
Oh, you don't know that.
I've seen her walk around in the day. She's my sister. I grew up with her.
Renamal is going to slightly lean back in her chair and give you some serious side eye.
She's not a vampire. She's a vampiric person. She's not a vampire. She sucks air. She sucks fun.
The new type of vampire. What? Surely we should be informed of that.
Renamal is going to start rubbing at her forehead. I get the impression this is one of these places where your language and mine don't mesh. She's going to turn around in her chair and keep...
Chevalier looks at the 2 of them and just says, if you spend too much time with her, your brain explodes.
I understand.
why Lucas is the way he is.
Chifele, you were making fun of me.
I was making a point to them.
So you folks will wind up down in the P&B district. Again, it's very interesting. There aren't any street lights, but the ground glows. I'll show you on the map what I
Lights,
mean.
up lights everywhere.
Yes, that's exactly it. Everything around here is
Creepy
up.
everything.
Yeah, let me get this a little bit more over here. So it's down this area that you guys are in. And so literally all of those patches of color are bioluminescent. The gemstones are the bright pinks, sharp greens, that sort of thing. Those are it's kind of like a slate roof, only it's much more what's the phrase I'm looking for? It's slate, but it's all it's an iridescent sort of stone. And so it all glitters and scintillates as any amount of light glances off it, and it produces this sort of rainbow effect. If the roof is mostly green, it's going to kind of be like looking at a chunk of abalone. It's primarily the blue sheen that's got all kinds of other rainbow colors around the edging, and then the purples are going to be the same idea, right? It's like looking at an amethyst at an odd angle. You get this really peculiar set of other colors that ripple around the edges. So yeah, that's the area you're in. Renamala will apologize, by the way. She said, yeah, we'll stay here for this evening. I'm aware of the fact that Equidian and probably Jazina would get grumpy at me for us staying down here, but I'll just put it on the company tab, as it were. But it would just be awkward right now for us to stay with family, I think.
Why awkward?
Oh, she's going to smile. About the politics, let's go in and get something to drink, and I'll explain. So you guys are going to go inside. It's a brightly lit little place. It's fairly feisty, I guess is the best way of explaining it. Everything, again, is this odd selection of colors. There isn't a fireplace. What there is instead are all of these chunks of crystal that are glowing of their own accord, lighting the room in this sort of rainbow of greens, purples, blues, reds, and it's almost as though each of the crystals has got some sort of little fire inside of it, because the light isn't just stationary. It flickers, and it's almost as though the inside of the crystal is shaking and jiggling the light that's shining out of it. And there's one of these little crystals on every table, and there's several sitting on the bar and everything else. Some fairly easy on the eyes, Chippendale's dancer strolls over and says, right, so what you folks want?
Is as far as drinks go?
Well, I can get. Well, yeah. I mean, the evening menu, the morning menu's up. You can have breakfast too if you want.
Yes, please.
Special. Renamala
I am, yes.
There's going to be this really odd look on his face. Renamala will just say, "Hang on a second. It's six breakfast specials, extra mug of cider on the table. Yeah, no problem." And he'll wander off.
5.
Oh no!
Wait,
Just gonna say, Renamala will smile at Chevalier. No, I know you don't eat. Just trust me on this. 6.
So I'll eat yours.
Is that what the 6 one's for?
Well, it's either that someone here. It's either that you're all going to be famished, or you're all going to hate it. But there's always going to be someone hanging around the side of a place like this, looking for a meal. And I just make it a policy to always pick up an extra, so I've got something left to pass out. If you're traveling, if you stay at a place like this, it's sort of expected that you're going to be leaving with your leftovers wrapped up to go for a snack on the road.
Oh, doggy bag.
Dog got to do with it.
What does a dog have to do with it?
No, that's what. Isn't that right, Jasper? Whenever we.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean. Yes. No, but no, we don't feed
the food to your pet. This is for us.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. No, I understand what you mean. She says. She kind of shakes her head.
Good. I'm glad.
It doesn't translate well. She says because. Yeah, anyway, I'll explain later. It doesn't translate well. So a few minutes later, the way food arrives here, by the way, is not the way you're used to. 6 meals don't show up. 3 large trenchers loaded with enough food for 6 people show up, and then everyone gets plates.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say they threw them at us or something. Like,
no, I'm just going to say...
Food doesn't show up as you expect. Boom!
It walks in.
Yeah. A giant ant comes in with it. Like,
no, it's just like I say...
A giant bird flies in and throws it up onto the table.
So we have to lie on our backs with our mouths open as it...
One by one.
Like, so... Michelle,
This
you need
is
to be careful what you
Michelle.
say. It doesn't happen the way we expect, because what we expect is apparently
A giant bird coming in and regurgitating itself into our mouths.
eating us.
Like a seagull feeding its young.
Once we get to the Arakoa,
Oh no, what have we done? Sam, why did you?
I think the word you're looking for in your language is buffet.
Buffet.
Sure.
But Buffett is the head of the exchequer.
Buffett
You're
is
paying how?
No, Buffett is he. Never mind.
Too many options for this.
Anyway, so so you know what? Worm ham.
Mm-hmm. Did you say warm ham?
Worm.
Oh, worm. Okay.
WRM. Worm.
Okay.
Does it look like worm?
Well, it looks like ham.
That's fine then. Alexandria doesn't need to be told what it is.
Is it wiggling?
Okay, I'm going to describe it in terms that you will understand and yet be completely wrong at. It looks like a wonderful selection of
Yes.
ham,
Yes.
mushrooms.
Mhm.
Probably for that size, those are probably duck eggs that have been boiled. And then a selection of maybe seaweed or vermicelli style stringy greens.
That sounds delicious. Alexandria starts eating immediately.
It tastes nothing like any of those things.
In my mouth.
The
Brain
textures are wrong.
of
The
the
phrase,
people who
the
didn't put
textures are wrong. The tastes are wrong. The colors inside are wrong.
If we could see the colors.
So yeah. On the other hand, by the way, yeah, she. This is probably your sister's favorite spot. You and she have been here many times. She absolutely loves eating at this place. The food is always good, and the prices are not ridiculous. So yeah.
Pizza Hut. No.
It's Sizzler.
What?
No, Drew. No. I'm gonna take you to some nice places, man. What the hell? All the Australians. Like,
Sizzler was a treat
What?
when we was growing up, wasn't it?
The all-you-can-eat salad bar.
Oh, just going to say this
Their
sounds like a
cheesy
traumatic.
fungus is great, and it's not cheese. It is fungus.
I was just going to
It's
say it
cheesy.
actually is cheese. It's just not dairy cheese.
pretty sure.
It's definitely cultured.
Cheese. Keep in mind, folks, cheese is a process. It's not an origin product.
Definitely moldy and aged.
So yeah. Giggle point. But yeah, and again, a lot of the food here has been steamed. Is probably going to see something you'll notice. Steamed, spiced. I can't remember what the word for it. It's when you use acid to cook instead of heat. Because keep in mind,
Oh.
cooking is the is the process of curdling proteins from a
Yeah.
right, and so you can actually cook cold but with acid. And I can't remember what it's called. It's not pickling. It's actually specifically a different thing, and I can't remember the word for it. But yes, so there's several things.
Acidulate.
Hmm?
Acidulated?
I think that's it. Yes, that sounds
To use
right.
an acid such as that found in citrus juice, vinegar, or wine to prevent browning, alter flavor, or make an item safe for canning.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Safe for canning.
canning.
It's clean.
They called
used-
me in
that's
high
why
school.
lemon juice is used to cook fish.
Yeah. So there's a couple of cultures that do that use this, and I can't remember what the proper term is. Anyway, I think it's an absolutely fascinating way of doing things. But so the effect is again, it tastes it has a very strong acidy sort of, like I say, a citrus flavor or something like that to it. But there's also a good layer of spices mixed into it to mellow that out a bit.
Does any of this food taste like what we had at the Dashamali Manor? Does any of it look familiar
Yes.
to that? Alexandria will eat probably that,
Okay. Yeah.
possibly that. She'll eat what she has to survive and eat the part that is probably protein. Maybe it is. She doesn't. She'll guess.
So while you folks are chatting,
think
hang on a second.
Lucas is making a burrito out of the ham.
Burritos.
Life is nothing but a series of burritos. Yes.
Can you imagine we leave this place and like wildfire, there is a sudden surge in burritos because Drew has brought it, not Drew, well, Drew, but also Lucas has brought it down to the underworld. And all of a sudden, this is the most fashionable dish, is just taking all of this food, wrap it up, and then just eat
The
it.
wait staff was looking like slack-jawed, like, whoa.
Never thought you
Game
could do
changer.
that. What?
Suddenly, next time we come back, there are burrito carts everywhere.
So
Lucas just spawns burrito carts in his wake.
yes.
The food cart economy takes off in the
Yeah,
underbelly.
exactly. One sec here. Let me get this.
We were saying there weren't enough energy boons, so maybe that's
Mm-hmm.
one that you have. Is just, I know it should be creation, but like in honor of Lucas, it should just be energy. The energy to keep going. It's a burrito.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
That's-
creation. That's
that's-
energy.
How?
So what?
That's my perk.
So
Yeah.
while you guys are having breakfast, what Renimal is going to explain, and I've got the map up on the screen, is that Marsashal is sort of the bastion, if you will, of the Dashamali family. And because it's underground, maps don't quite, nations and things don't work quite the way that you expect them to work down here. If there's not a cavern that goes there, it doesn't matter. So so what amounts to a polity tends to be just literally the area that you can patrol to, right? So where you're going is called Crucereds, and it's sort of a no man land between the Dashamali and the next family over, who don't particularly like each other. The two families about 40 years ago beat the crap out of each other trying to actually control Crucereds until to quote Lemony Snicket, a series of unfortunate events took over and convinced them just to leave it as a no man's land. Or more specifically down this way, a no woman's land. So yeah. The around here, everywhere we're going to be traveling is pretty safe in terms of the people you'll meet. The Dashamali are actually pretty well militarized because the matriarch has gone out of her way to exploit Aquidian's ability to schmooze with the Skysiders, and so as you can probably have guessed by the freight elevators, they do a very busy trade of goods you just simply can't get down here, and the other way around. And part of that is a better selection of weapons. There are just some weapons that are just impossible to make down here. Halberds, if you will, are a Dashamali trademark. Why, you might ask? Because there aren't any oak trees down here. You can't make polearms down here. There's no wood.
So, how do you fight down here?
Renamala giggles, kind of glances over at she. It intends to involve, up until the revolution, the weapons revolution that Cousin Aquidian ushered in, it tended to involve long knives at close ranges.
Not
Familiar.
teeth.
That's what I call my swords.
I see.
No, we prefer things to be up close and personal. I suppose it's more honorably. Is that the word?
Honorable?
Noble.
That's the one.
Yes.
Spellcasting, of course, is something that, is a common thing, but again, spells tend to be what you can jab in someone's ribs as opposed to hurl at them, because she's going to kind of look out the window and gesture, and you can sort of see from where you are across a little bit of the cavern. This isn't one of the biggest caverns, but it is fairly large nonetheless. Most of the spaces will be walking through will be maybe 300 meters wide, maybe 50 meters tall. There's going to be a lot of front and back and not a whole lot of left to right, and not a whole lot of up and down. It's going to be like walking through very large hallways, a lot of places. And so she shrugs. Bows can't really arc a shot, which means she kind of gestures at the crossbow. Crossbows are something we do a lot of down here, flat, right? You'll see blowguns. Same reason, flat. But most of the time, when it comes down to to hurting someone, it tends to come right down to stand on their toes and stab them. Or in my case, wheel up on their toes and stab them.
But you said that people down here were nice to each other.
Well, nice down here in the same way that you folk are all nice up there. Burn a whole city and stuff.
I mean, also, if you're going to kill someone, it's better to know that they're dead by being up close.
Renamala giggles. No, it's not. Trust me, I like my crossbow.
I like this place.
It's dark. I'm not surprised.
So, if you want, we can go for a little walk around the town later. I don't mind. We don't mind showing you around. She kind of pauses. I probably shouldn't do that. Do you mind coming with us? I know you want to head back to your place and grab your stuff, but
Would be an honor.
all right. It's
What? I have a question. What is the name of this family that you were? The
Of our
Dashamali are
family?
not- no, that the Dashamali are not currently on good terms with.
1 sec. Michelle needs to double check.
Well, you see, as she, I obviously know, and the name is 100%, and I know it's going to be difficult for you to pronounce, but it's, how do I translate it? If I were to put it in a way that you, Michelle.
Any moment.
So how
any
many
moment.
syllables are in this one?
Hang on a second. Just
It depends. How long can you hold your breath?
yes, exactly. Okay.
Indefinitely.
I'll paste it in chat because it's awkward. Bloody hell, where'd it go? There's chat.
My tongue is not awkward. Please stop saying that.
You've mentioned that a couple of times. So I feel like, are you
Raid
Raiden Shahal.
Shohal.
Yes.
Yes, my tongue is not awkward. I'm going to keep saying it.
Show me your tongue.
No.
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
My tongue.
Have you got
Why?
a piercing or something? Is that getting in the way?
What?
You tongue-tied.
No.
While you folks are all chatting, fairly stern-looking woman comes out with an apron around her waist, dressed pretty much head to toe in a combination of shades of gray, absolutely outrageous bright purple hair, bluish eyes, a light blue toned skin, and she'll come over and give a quick curtsy and tell Renamala that the meal is. She's realized that Renamala and she are members of two very esteemed households. And obviously you're traveling with guests, so she wouldn't dare charge you folks for the meal, so meals on the house. And
Thank you.
Renamala is going. Now this is going to be one of these cultural things. So what happens for the next 5 minutes is Renamala gets into an argument about doubling the bill.
Just tell me it's Arab culture, man. It's fine. I got this.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You're all right. You're familiar with this one. Fair enough. Not everyone.
100%. Listen, I've almost got into fistfights trying to take the bill. Don't do it. Don't take the bill from me. It's mine.
Well, yeah, but here, literally, the game that's going on, literally, is Renamala is arguing that it would be horrible for the Dashamali and her personal family to take advantage of this establishment by not paying, and in fact, the food is so good that she would like to pay extra, and the proprietor is arguing that they wouldn't dare. It is such an honor for them to have you people here and these topsider guests. Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. It goes on for about 5 minutes.
Because during that 5 minutes, she has gone over to the counter.
Yep.
And has already paid. So
yeah.
You don't have to be the loudest. You just have to
Anyway, so the argument ones.
Stop it, Shawnee.
So the argument wraps up with an agreement to pay slightly less than the original bill, and grudgingly, by the way. And the proprietor wanders off back to the kitchen.
So it's been paid twice.
Well, no, they had to settle the bill first. But the fact that she has already gone and paid the bill,
Yeah.
they had to agree what the bill was going to be. She just went and paid the bill anyway. So no, it hasn't been paid twice. It has been agreed to once very loudly, and then the agreement was ignored and the bill was paid.
Right.
You are, by the way, drawing some looks. There are a few merchants. Usually, most of them women, who are sitting around having business breakfasts and that sort of thing, chatting with each other, coming, going, and a bunch of topsiders sitting off to one corner. Always seems to be drawing a double take. So yeah,
to what?
Skysiders. I keep saying topsiders. It's Skysiders. Yeah.
Who are they looking at?
Yes.
I mean,
the eyes go around the table. The first question immediately is who are they sitting with? So they recognize they may not recognize she or Mala, but they recognize the sashes they're wearing, right? And then they immediately go looking for the woman in charge. So immediately they look at Alexandre, and then immediately wind up looking at Chevalier because what the hell?
It's about right.
And then eventually some of them are curious, glance curiously at either Lucas or Spotter.
Alexandre sees that all is well here, and this is all normal. And
so, Mala, your usual occupation here is removal of beasties, vermin, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's what you said.
She kind of, well, maybe I was exaggerating a little bit. Honestly, mostly what I do is wheel back and forth over traveled pathways, bored. Every once in a while, I do get to have some fun, though.
And it's a family business. And I look at you, she.
No,
Go ahead,
No.
she.
I study. I'm studying.
what do you study?
Yeah, what's your field of expertise?
For the most part, the family business. But I suppose on the side, magic, and other things.
You study magic?
Yes. And she kind of looks at you like, and like motions to her eye.
I don't. Is that?
Oh, it's just a signifier within Ebon Elves that one possesses, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, if one possesses, I suppose, innate magical talents.
So the best way of putting it is that is the stereotype. There is within Ebon Elf society, red eyes, ash skin tend to be the bulk of the folks openly casting spells. The stereotype is that it's just an innate thing, but it begins to beg the question as to whether or not the stereotype, if because it's the stereotype, those people that look that way go into magic, or if it actually is the reality. I mean, not everyone who looks like that can't cast. Ebon Elves all have an access to magic. It's just that, if you will, the stereotype is the ones, the ash skin, the red eyes, tend to be the ones who are, the sorceresses of the culture. Does that make sense? So yeah, it's the stereotype that is the case. Yes.
I didn't know that people just spend that much time studying magic.
Do you not study something to get better at it? Or do you just assume that you're great at it?
No.
Well, I study to get better.
like practice with sword fighting.
Exactly. And the more I
With
study,
books.
the more I learn, the more spells I can cast, the better I can protect those around me.
Your
Why-
books.
Why not just ask?
Ask who.
Valerie puts like a hand on like Alexandria's shoulder and is just like, okay. Just like he doesn't say anything. He's just sort of like, can't believe I have to have, he's just sort of in his head like, I have to have this conversation?
I don't know.
I didn't know.
I don't think that's ever been discussed.
It's just like, oh.
Other people have to like work on this? What?
Yes, you entitled meritocrat.
Ow, you hit me in the rich.
No, my money.
You hit me in the money, it hurts.
Oh, you have to put effort in. That's adorable.
Do you have to study some things when you could just ask for it and it is given?
And she'll look at Marla like, am I not understanding the language? Like, am I not getting that? Like, is that what's happening here? Or is she actually asking this?
Yeah, at that point, Valley will actually lead in and just goes into Alexandria's like, you do realize that your situation is incredibly unique, right?
What
Well,
exactly
yes, of course, but
is
So
your
other
situation?
people do not have the same setup. They must learn and study in an academic sense to have similar capacity.
how do you study that though?
Same way you study anything else.
Renamal is going to lean over to She and say, "Remember what I told you? Mission from God."
I thought you meant like a figurative one.
So you're like some sort of house magician then?
I think we should go for a walk.
Well, I'd like to read some of your books sometime.
I would like to read them too.
Oh, surely you cannot just ask for a book.
I probably could, but I probably could.
I think
I never
Yes,
thought to ask before.
Read one.
Could you just write all this down and stop singing?
In a book, what were you thinking?
Is it
I
you
keep
get it?
having
It's
to
just musical
guess.
notes.
Yeah. Well, that's what. In
Sheet
fact, yeah.
music.
She's just going to take out her sheet music.
Are you actually taking out your sheet music?
I have sheet music in my pocket.
Mission from God, like a musician God? What's going on?
Don't ask me, ask
That's
her.
That's pretty accurate, actually.
Well, it's not accurate,
Can
but
you
it's not wrong either.
sing your spells?
Sort of.
Most of the time, it's more like screaming.
It's only screaming if I'm trying to hurt people, and you. It's only screaming if I'm trying to hurt people.
And then I think at this, she will say, "Oh, you have to vocalize your spells."
The tables are turned.
Yes, but I didn't have to learn them. It's intuition.
Some of my spells are very intuitive now.
Now you have to spend a lot of time studying them. How old are you?
How old are you?
I asked first.
I asked second.
I'm 18.
A child sings and she calls it magic.
I want to ask a.
Is there popcorn that I can just be like?
Yeah. I want to
Like
ask
some fungal popcorn.
It's just like little bits of lichen. You're like,
Yeah.
sweet, actually.
I want to ask a sort of meta mechanical question to Michelle and the group. I think I have a trait, a perk, which says that you've practiced the way of sneaking hidden charms and subliminal messages within everyday conversation. Once per session, when you converse with an intelligent creature for at least 5 minutes, you'll learn a useful secret of the GM's choosing about the creature.
Yeah.
How does the group and you, Michelle, as the GM, feel about me using that on a player character? Because I want to learn a secret about Reneshi.
Sure. So the short version of this is that is technically PvP. In the strictest sense of the word, is player taking action versus player. And as a GM, PvP must be consensual. And so if you basically if Nadine is, or is it Nadine or Nadine? Nadine. If Nadine is
Thanks. No one ever asks that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. If Nadine's okay with it, then I'm okay with it. But otherwise, I generally say that players are protected by plot armor within the extent of the narrative.
I think either is fair here, so I'll leave it up to you, Nadine. But Spider is trying to read between the lines of what you've said and is very good at that. And so,
okay, specifically, what is it you want to know? Because she's alluding.
It specifically says of the GM's choosing usually for an NPC. So
I literally just made that up, so Michelle would be like,
yeah. But that's fine. Like, we're all
here's the thing.
Here.
So the strictest thing is it's quote a secret. It doesn't actually even have to relate to the topic at hand. That's the odd thing about the wording. So a couple times he's used it in the past. I've used it to reveal something where unconsciously the character was playing with a signet ring, and it turned out that the signet was something that the position of the two signet rings on the character's finger was very significant politically. It had nothing to do with the conversation, but it was a secret they learned. And so it can be anything that Nadine that you think Reneshi wouldn't want to give away, but would be interesting if she did.
Okay. Do you want me to message it?
No. Just you can either messages or just put it out on the table. It's up to you.
Yeah.
No, I'll message it. It's spicy when I message it.
Yeah, cool. I'm into it.
Actually, so here's what we're going to do. Hang on. Secret. Actually, do not message it. Here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
So, Lucas, Alexandre, and Chevalier, please mute the audio. Or take your headphones off, whatever it is, so you cannot hear the conversation. And when I do this, you can come back. All right? Okay, go ahead.
I suppose what Reneshi is alluding to is that whilst most magics, I don't know too much about the open Legends world, but if it's anything like D&D, then normally there's a vocal aspect to it, a written aspect, a physical item aspect to it, or like an innate something.
Mm-hmm.
The form of magic that she's studying and that she's going more towards it means that she's not so restricted as most magicians or people who can cast spells can.
And my presumption there as a person, me, Jamie, rather than Spider, though I think it goes both ways, is that there is like a covert element to that purposely. That's what she's trying to become a spy or some variation thereof.
She
for the
is
family.
Trying to hide it because it makes her more useful.
Right, more dangerous.
And more dangerous. I'll give you that.
Yeah, okay.
And she doesn't particularly want that for reasons you don't know.
All right. So more than that is a presumption.
Yes.
Cool. I'm into it.
All right. All right. So that's just a little secret between us and the audience. And
Chantel's going to learn it as soon as she edits this thing. So.
I don't watch the whole thing. I just spot check. So
Yeah.
hopefully I won't land on it and I'll just move it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Where are we? 2 hours and 4 minutes. There we go.
That's not quite how it works when I edit.
Surely not here.
Oh, I'll see thumbs up and I'll see headphones coming out and I'll know what's happening. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
So I like doing that. That's gosh, who is it? I think that was Eric was doing
That was
that. I
Eric.
just thought it was
Mhm.
a fantastic way of keeping the audience in the loop while keeping the players in suspense, because you get the expressions and things like that. So it's just something I've started doing as well. I think it's grand. So thank you to Eric if you're ever watching. Gleefully stolen. All right. So
You didn't tell me how old you are.
You want in commoner years or Evan elf years?
There's a difference.
Yeah, it's
Is
like
there a
dog
difference?
years.
Okay, so the short version. So the way I tend to do things is, yeah, the elves are more long-lived than humans. All the various races have slightly different lifespans. The catch is because I hate the idea of any given race gestating like an elephant. The way I do it is that once a given a given species hits after puberty is when their longevity kicks in. So the first 20 years of any given race is about the same, but there's a huge difference between a human being 40 and an elf being 40.
Okay. Meaning elves being 40 is heckin' old?
Well, it just for a human at 40 is halfway through their life. An elf is about a quarter of the way through their life. And so there is, a year is a year is a year. The planet spins the same speed for everyone. It's just that at some point, I don't do 1,000-year-old elves. It causes too many problems. It's more like humans max. Humans run the clock out at around 80 years on average. You'll get some variation. And then elves, dwarves tend to be around the 120 to 150 range. I've got the specifics written down, the world handful.
Nice.
I'm just going off the top. So I was just going to say, I don't think it's unreasonable but because of that extra 50 to 70 years of lifespan, those races tend to treat 20 to 30 the way most humans treat 10 to 20.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha. Then in that case, early 40s.
You're not that much older than me.
I beg to differ.
In elf years.
And I think she'll lean around and look at Alexandria's ears. Yes. I introduced you this time, Shawnee.
Hell no.
She lied.
Just Tammy, stop. Spoilers.
Early days. Stop
Is this
it.
where we kiss?
Is it
enemies to lovers?
last minute
I feel
bait
like
and
you're-
switch?
I feel like you're pulling that move on everybody in the group.
She'll stop using it when it stops working.
Exactly.
All right.
Keep him mean, keep him keen.
Mm-hmm. So, one sec here. Back to activate and map table.
So it took you 40 years to learn how to do magic?
Yes. Is that supposed to be shameful?
I don't know. It's a little slow. Even Lucas is 25.
Lucas, do you know magic?
I'm new to it.
We all were. Well, some of us.
I've got much to learn.
If you're looking for a really bad tutor, I'm always here.
She's got
Thank
one.
Renimala.
That's self-owned.
I look at Alexandre and I say, a good student can always learn from more than one tutor.
Mala will chuckle and kind of glance over towards Spider with this amused look on her face and say, "So, you folks are going to be okay for about a week. For I think it's 5 days. 5 days hike from here, up to Cressroad. Yeah, you guys have walked distances like that before."
Oh, yeah, despite all appearances to the contrary, we are quite capable.
Excellent. Good. I was starting to wonder. I'm hoping that if all goes well, when we get to Cressroad, we'll be able to actually catch a ride from there, and that'll simplify everything.
A ride on...
The best description for it is... take a small ship, knock the mast off, and put wheels on the bottom.
A ship. All right.
We call them tunnel crawlers. It just means that you don't have to worry about things murdering you while you're trying to have a nap.
I don't know if that'll stop me.
Am I about to get my wish for this to become a steampunk genre story?
We just need some see-in-the-dark goggles for
I need some goggles.
and...
You said a magic shop, didn't you?
Look, we can promise you steam.
I'll bring the punk.
You'll have to provide your own punk.
Unusual going into their little
And if
box.
you're not using toothpaste in the hair, it's not punk.
Mm-hmm.
That's my limit. No toothpaste in my hair.
I'm just going to say, I'm not sure actually anyone
That
here
looks too
actually. I'm not sure any of you actually understood that, so I'm just going to.
No,
I'm just going to go back.
Oh, I
to
know
being
exactly
old.
why.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough.
I know exactly why.
I'm just going to say I'll just go back to being old.
Oh my god. Steampunk. Steampunk fantasy. Oh.
I mean, how the world should be?
Yeah.
Or like, yeah.
You mean the airship your grandfather wandered off in? That's
Oh,
steampunk
look, I
fantasy.
imagine that was like I had no image of that, but now I do.
You need to read Michelle's books. That's what you need to do.
Arcano-mechanical. Yeah. So yes, since I'm just going to say, since Chantel brings it up, yes, I've written a couple steampunk novels. It's actually a genre I adore, but yeah. So all right, so you guys are going to finish up breakfast, which for you is probably second supper, and this is part of the catch, right? Is you guys were having supper, a half an hour ago. Well, probably closer to an hour at this point, when or had just finished up supper when Renimala and Ramiki rolled into the Lazy Sky where you guys were staying.
Reneshi?
Oh yes, I keep doing that. Renimala and Reneshi.
Yeah, we're related.
Well, you're all cousins, yes.
Technically, we're related too.
Don't say that.
I take it back.
Don't blame me for this.
Here.
Yeah, that's one of those liberal interpretations of the word cousin, unfortunately.
Alexandra's already experienced that. That was weird.
I was just going to
Weird
say it makes reading some actual period Italian Renaissance text really, really awkward.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
I was just going to say there's I can't remember his name. Gosh. Nope, slips my mind. Anyway, his personal memoirs basically read like a bodice ripper, and he keeps referring to the fact that he's off in bed with yet another one of his cousins, both either male or female. And when you actually stop and do the math, what you find out is he's talking about social cousins, not blood cousins. It's just everyone he meets at a party is there because they're close. They're close to the family, right? So yeah. But yes, if you read it sounds like the most ridiculous thing you've ever read about the number of people he slept with are his quote cousins. He also at one point manages to boondoggle the Pope by stealing some of the gold intended for the Pope's gold and gems intended for the Pope's new crown. Replaces them with tin and glass, and then later on gets caught. Anyway, he's a remarkable swindler, and sleeps with everything that wanders past. But it's like I say, the catch is when you're reading the damn thing is everyone he's sleeping with is a cousin of his, which is really awkward to read with through North American eyes. So you folks are going to then make your way along the southern top rim of the bowl. I've got the map up now so you guys can see. And what you guys Renamala and Mala and she are going to lead you over towards this bridge. Here, I'll zoom in a bit so it's a little easier to see, because there's an absolutely glorious waterfall in either direction that you look. Again, the hex is here about 15 meters, 50 feet. So to give you, that's how wide that waterfall roaring in over there is.
Could you translate that into Chantel's, please?
Hang on. Chantel is 5 and a bit, so that would be 8 to 10 Chantels.
Thank you.
No problem. No, it's an important unit of measure. We need to remain internally consistent on this show.
Thank you. It's much better than meters or feet because I know what it is.
Yeah, so 8 to 10 times higher than you are tall, and at least that much wide. It's not a Niagara-esque torrent of water arcing outwards. It just seems to be pouring out of the crack in the ceiling, which is probably somewhat disconcerting to folks not used to it. But it's coming down this solid sheet out of the ceiling, and then bounding down across the rocks and outcroppings that are the side of the cavern wall at that point. And then there's the pool that forms ahead of you. There's all kinds of froth and stuff. It is warm down here, by the way. It is nearly tropical sort of warm. And so you've got this heavy sort of tropical warmth in the air. All around you, you've been walking along these streets where the lawns are biofluorescent fungi, luminous lichen, and then you've got this torrent of water, which itself, of course, warmed the chemistry in it, warmed by the rock and stuff around. The water, kind of like equatorial beaches, the water itself glows in the dark. These gorgeous blue and aqua eddies rippling past and things like that, flowing underneath the bridge. And then you've got an actual waterfall behind you, which cascades down into the next layer of the bowl, going further down towards the sink.
This is beautiful.
That's why I like taking folks here. That's why I like taking folks places. Renamala says, I can be back and forth across this bridge 10 times in a week. Sometimes. Bridge is just in the way for me of where it is I'm going. But every time I bring someone new here, there's always that hang on. I have to hang off the bridge railing and stare, and it gives me a moment to look at it like it's new.
Alexandria takes that, hangs off the bridge railing, and stares. Sounds like a great idea.
So yeah, the place is busy. It's not Glitter Delta Cove busy, but there's always people going by, and you sort of keep getting the same sort of general reaction you were getting in the at the P&B of people sort of doing the moment, and then followed by what, looking at Chevalier, and then most of the time just ignoring Lucas or Spider. And yeah, so there's a steady stream, but it's not by the, it's by the handful as opposed to by the 100, which is sort of what you're used to around Glitter Delta Cove, particularly down in the area, the rebuilt area, right? So there's a steady stream of people coming and going, all manner of business, all walks of life. To use the description, you recognize you in somebody else's face passing by. Guards, nobles, escorts, ne'er-do-wells, whatever. Military people, etc. There's just in some ways the familiarity of the jobs makes the way they're dressed or the area around them all the more alien. Like, I recognize that, but it still doesn't manage to look right.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
Just looking at the time, so it means I can. Somewhere in this, I'd like to use Whisper of the Wild.
Sure.
I'd like to ask, will being down here make my head explode?
No.
She drops the spell.
Okay.
What happened to your crown? That's your accent. What happened to your crown?
I don't need a book.
I thought you would have known.
Now, one
You didn't
sec. I need to make a quick
Oh, no. No, you don't.
Yes,
What?
I do.
You're just going to roll for my
no,
brain
no.
exploding now? That's not okay. I can't do that.
It turns out that
Oh.
while the song will tell the truth, it can be wrong. Boom.
That's the secret that was shared when we had the headphones off. He's like, I'm not kidding. Your head might explode.
Secrets, I'm the song.
Like, don't make it.
Well,
3d8 and d20. Okay, let's turn the happy dice camera on. See if this works. Yes, happy dice camera.
What?
D20, 3d8. Something boon. Tell me about that defensive measure there, Chevalier versus Scrying.
Oh, right.
Oh.
So it's against. I'll just double check. It improves the defense value by an amount.
All right. And
6. So the targeted defense is just 6 higher than it.
6 higher. And okay. And so I believe it's resolve. So Alexandri, what is your resolve, please?
Is the song helping me with this situation?
Well, insofar as it's the only, I believe it's part of the reason your will stat is as high as it is.
Yes. So my resolve in that case would be 19. With the boon, it becomes 6 higher than that.
So 25.
24?
Right.
20.
25.
25.
So let's see what we get. That's a 1. That's an excellent
Ooh.
start.
Let's start there.
3, 7, so we're at 11. That's going to be nowhere near high enough. And so 18. Crap roll. So I think you are going to have a brief moment of feeling like something incredibly unpleasant is standing behind you, trying to look over your shoulder.
I think
Turning.
like everyone, if it's a really bad roll, like because it's like everyone in the area who has a high resolve.
Yes. If your resolve is more than is 18 or higher, then yes, you are all given this vague sensation of some incredibly unpleasant presence. And you are left with this sensation of it being sort of behind you or above you or something in that. Just that kind of, what the hell is that moment? It's fleeting. It doesn't last very long. And then it's gone.
Did anyone else feel that?
Feel what?
Spider immediately draws his knives. What happened?
Just
Did
like there was someone.
yeah, what's your resolve?
16, I think.
16. Okay, yeah, and yeah.
Yeah,
So
16.
Renamala didn't notice that either. So I mean, I think Renamala's hand is going to go sort of automatically over, back like this onto the grip of the crossbow, and is going to be looking around, but she can't see anything.
If you spoke, I didn't hear you, Sam.
What did you feel?
Something behind me. Or above, just... I don't know, something watching?
Well, I guess that answers that question then.
Which question?
How she was finding us.
I don't think we should stay here.
Does she know anything about the past?
No. I was just going to say, you know exactly what you've been told on screen. So actually, at this point, Renamala is going to take her hand off the crossbow and look at Alexandre. And then back to Chevalier, particularly after how she found us. Is there something you've neglected to mention?
There is someone who is looking for me and Chevalier. And she's very good at magic. And, well, she almost killed Lucas.
But she didn't.
Almost.
I almost killed her too.
But didn't.
But didn't.
Did Aquidian not fill you in? For the reason that we were wished to travel underground.
Mala is going to this would be grumpy ebon elf woman. That's the expression on her face. No, he didn't.
Wow. Like to be. Wish I was more surprised, I guess.
So you're being
You're being
actively hunted by
pursued.
some ridiculous sorceress?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think priestess is more accurate.
She was using a sickle.
Which we have now. If I were to guess, I would say that she follows the fiend of slaughter.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Exactly what we need.
To be fair, she couldn't just like pop out of nowhere. She had an agent in the city who tracked
away.
us. Sorry?
Got away?
Yeah, but I mean, we're down here now. Unless you see any strange Oni masked assailants, we're probably all right.
You didn't see a face. You don't know.
This is...
My assumption, our assumption, was that, well, they were either tracking us through mundane means or through magic. Alexandre likely being the person that they would try to link to if they were finding us with magic. So I shored up some defenses against that. Seems like that was the correct choice.
Well, good thing is we have a head start on them.
We had the head start last time.
Yeah, but we hung around for a very long time.
We can't keep moving forever.
We kind of can.
You said you had a weapon of some kind of hers.
Yes, from what I can tell, she or her order, or she somehow got it, was a sickle of Boreador. But some great lengths have gone to corrupt and debase it.
Have you checked it for
I had it
tracking magics?
checked at the temple. I'm forgetting the god's name. God of knowledge is like Atla or something like that.
I don't think we've ever tried to track anything from it, though.
It is more whether they're tracking you with it. You're holding something of theirs.
I think she's looking for me, though.
Are you not where the weapon is?
I'm not holding it.
But your companion is? You said you had it with you, no?
Yes, though given that she is familiar with all four of us, she could scry for any one of us.
Oh, good.
The reason for bolstering our defense against that was not just to prevent it from happening, but also to notice when it does.
And I guess she will just look at Mala and very quizzically give her a sisterly look of what the fuck?
Do you have any books that can stop that?
Do you have any songs that could?
Know that it's happening. Yes.
Mala is going to speak up. Okay. So it was really cute for you two to be one-upping each other earlier, but now that we have a maniac who's Oni-masked assassins teleporting, debasing religious symbols, and trying to murder you and four of you, the closest you could get to was almost, that changes things.
You're really not going to enjoy when we tell you about the Werekin.
Yeah, I was about to say, she wasn't alone. She had like 3 giant mutated creatures with her.
No, but
which we did.
they're
And
the
there
ones,
wasn't-
we killed those. We did good against them.
Yeah, we won that fight.
Yes.
She ran away.
And I wasn't joking. I meant it. Do you have any books?
I think this is an excellent place for us to fade to black and resume next week.
Ooh, because Nadine's going to do some searching.
Let's do some reading.
Uh-huh.
Reading montage.
Reading montage.
Thank you, everyone. Hope you had fun.
We did.
So yeah, interesting. Glad you guys. What did you think so far of how the place feels and looks?
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, good. All right.
Super cool. I mean, I live there,
Delicious.
so.
Yeah, it's a little
It's no
blasé
big.
for you, right? Oh, just another day at the office.
Right? Oh,
Delicious
I hate those
ham.
beautiful bioluminescent waterfalls. Oh,
It's great.
All
Such
right.
a beautiful world.
Glad. All right. So yeah. By the way, I have no particular pace in mind. insofar as if you guys literally want to hang out here for a couple of sessions and just sniff around around the town, that's fine. I've got content for that. If you guys want to basically bolt for the door and try and get away from the elevator in case, Mr. Oni Mask sneaks down, well, that's cool too. So it's entirely up to you guys what you want to do. The pace
Get
is
trapped in a corridor with an Oni mask, or in a city with we can't see things with an Oni mask. So many options.
I think we need to do a shopping montage, a reading montage, and at the end of it, we will be proficient in magic that we can cast with a book, and also look like we're in a steampunk novel.
And have great singing voices, because there's not just one teacher. All right.
Excellent.
Well,
we're going to be a steampunk musical. Love it.
We're all ready, right? We're all ready for this. We're all here.
The full arc is like Alexandre learns how to use like academic book magic, but she also starts hearing the song.
Oh my god.
Alrighty, folks. So we'll wrap it up there. As I say, I don't want to. I don't want to run us too far over time, and we're getting about there. So yeah, time for goodbyes and where to nexts. So we'll just start with Drew and go clockwise. Drew, if you
All right. Hi and bye. My name is Drew. You can find me on Twitter at DrewWilson, and same at Insta. I'll be here next week. What else? I'm bringing home a puppy in 3 weeks, so you will get to meet this beautiful little specimen of a pooch. While I'm also catching up on sleep, because it's pretty much a newborn, and it's not going to ever get past the mental age of 6 months. So I will. I'm very excited about being a dad.
Excellent. All right, Chantel.
It's me.
It is
Hi.
you.
I'm gonna read a thing I wrote. Woo!
Splat.
I am.
Wall of text.
I'm sorry. I'm busy. All right. I'm an actor. I'm a writer. I'm a game designer. I'm a streamer, and I'm a psychologist. I spend a lot of my time on Twitter at Chantel B, or philosophizing and writing on my site wordswithcolor.com. I write to put up this stuff that we do and talk about, and yearnings for characters and stuff, I guess, all on that site. I'm currently recording podcasts for 2 new game systems. One is the Tesserae system, and one is for Strike Tabletop. And I am one of the writers on Omens Rising, which is still in development, but we're about to have like game writing con for the game, and I'm very excited because we get to sit together and discuss. Anyway, I also play in the fully cosplayed stream, the Falkenstein Affair, which is not this Tuesday coming, but the Tuesday after. We play bi-weekly, which is an Americanism. I mean fortnightly for everyone else in the world, apparently. And that's at 8 p.m. Eastern time on action_fiction. And on Tuesday, I'm playing with Nadine. I finally got to kiss someone.
That means you level up, right?
Yes. Level up. Anyway.
Level up to the... Yep.
Take that next... What?
All right, Nadine.
Get to the next level.
Hey, I'm Nadine, any_actor on Twitter and Twitch. I do the streaming thing. I do the voice acting thing, the podcasting thing. And I've also got some writings coming out soon. Some D&D stuff is going to playtest soon, which is so cool. Yeah, I do that stuff. And I'm also here on Saturdays. I'm also on my own stream on Tuesday, my time, Monday, American time. And my character's gonna try and see if they can do the... Yeah. All right. See you later.
Nadine's character is going to try to steal my character from another character.
Not if I can have them both, darling. Not
That is
Good
a proper
luck.
attitude. All
I
right.
wish you so much luck.
All right. Let's go, Jamie.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, it's
I'm
you.
Jamie. I am a voice actor and other things that you can probably see in the chat right now. You can check out my website, jamie-collette.com, and follow me on Twitter at Muffin Manifesto. And you can see me doing other stuff like this on Fridays at 12 p.m., whatever time zone, playing Blades in the Dark on Know Your Role. And another really exciting thing happened today, well, like yesterday, but I can't say anything about it for like 6 months. So NDA.
Stop doing that. Don't do that. That's mean. I don't need to know.
I'll tell you in 6 months' time.
Is it related to acting or voiceover?
Yes.
So it's acting. Great.
All right,
No,
fantastic.
it's a voice acting.
All right, 3 words. First word sounds like.
Yeah.
Some VO something.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations,
yeah.
man. That's
It
excellent.
also involves gaming and
Yay.
other cool things that people
Let's
like.
go.
Fantastic.
So it's all of the winning, is what you're saying.
All of the
It's good fun.
winning.
I'm
Yes.
very excited about it.
Yeah, awesome. Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a voice actor and performer based in Brisbane, and you can find me on Twitter at @_RealSammyP. I'm also doing the Shrike Tabletop podcast, which we will start recording hopefully next month. Looking forward to getting into that. It's a play test for their the system that they're developing. I'm very interested to sort of see how it plays, having now read it, and to sort of try and get my head around it. And very interested to see. It's sort of like it's not only so much you can sort of glean by reading the thing, but actually put tires to the ground and see how it runs.
Cool.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
But otherwise, fun games were had.
Awesome. Okay, so just someone over the course of the week ping me about Shrike. I want to go look it up and see what it is, because you people are awesome, and if you're involved, it's that makes it worth me looking at. So yeah.
I think there's if you look at the Twitter, their Twitter has a link to their
actual game.
Yes, but the point
game
is I'm scatterbrained and I'm not going to remember
want a
before.
link.
Yes.
I can do this for you.
Just pop the link into the into the Discord chat, so I remember to
I'll
actually
do that
go.
for you.
Thank you. Because goldfish. So speaking of which, I suppose that means it's my turn. Yeah. So I'm Michel Vaillancourt. I am the Game Master Storyteller for these fantastic people. You can catch up with me, Michelle V69 on Twitter. And you can also catch up with me, all those places that she just posted there. So, that's right. I do books and stuff. I forgot that. And then I have a website. Yay!
Dear Michelle, please have easy access to everything you do.
I was just going to say, I need to actually update that so my DeviantArt is in there as well.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So just for those of you who I'll be posting all the maps that got seen today on both DeviantArt and World Anvil sites. So that'll be happening probably this evening, my time. So yeah. I love maps. And I seem to be getting back into the groove of live streaming. So I'll probably be on first thing tomorrow morning working on a new map, probably for this game. So yeah. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. That's it for this week. If you're catching us on the VOD, we appreciate your time. Please tell your friends about us. Real-time VOD, whatever. Catch us on YouTube, wherever is convenient. We make a pretty damn good podcast, too, although I find listening to us remarkably disruptive. I keep laughing at you people's jokes, even though I've heard them all. Like, this is the second time listening to this. It's still funny giggle. So, yeah. Let us know what you think. Go ahead, send us feedback. You can get it to us via Lost Worlds Archive at Gmail. YouTube, same idea. Twitter, same answer. We love to hear from you. I think we've all collectively agreed that we would really like to hit somewhere in the 100-ish followers range within the next 6 months. So I think
if we can hit 100, we get a personalized YouTube link, and I like subscribe on YouTube, but follow us on Twitch.
Yes, because that would be
Both
huge
would
for
be
us.
free.
That would be a huge
It's
help.
free. Both of them are free.
Yes, so please let your friends know that we're here, particularly if they like good games with hijinks, because that's what we do. That is our brand.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Alrighty, folks,
As long as
that's
they're
it.
connected.
Alrighty, folks, that's it for this week. We will catch you in 7 days, and have fun in the meantime. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.